What's up, guys? This is Nick from Arch City Poker, and in today's video, I'm going to be continuing the Poker 101 series with today's topic covering 3 things to not do at the poker table. So the first topic is going to be don't berate players at the table. Essentially, do not berate players for their bad play, especially if you're not a very good player yourself, because you might be making incorrect plays more often than not. So you really have no right to start berating other players, but it just creates an overall negative vibe at the table. It's not good for you. It's not good for your table image. It's not good for the table overall. My buddy, for example, he played a hand with this guy the other day. The guy made all the wrong moves in the hand. My buddy ended up calling him with what was the worst hand on the flop, but this guy ended up calling a large raise out of position pre-flop after he limped with a hand like 6-5 offsuit, I believe, and it was 8-6-5. My buddy counterfeited him on the river with another 8. My buddy had an overpair. And this player just starts berating my buddy, telling him that he's an inferior player. He can't stand when players play terribly. When this guy limp called a large raise pre-flop out of position with a horrible hand and got lucky to flop the hand that he did and then ended up losing. So it's just not good overall for your image and for the table. Don't berate other players at the table. It's not wise to tell somebody what they're doing wrong right then and there, because then it makes them a better player right in the moment. So it doesn't make sense to do that. Now, if you know them, if you want to be friendly and do it later on in the session or after the session or the next day, and you do it in a positive manner, then that's fine. But I wouldn't suggest doing it right then and there. I wouldn't ever suggest doing it in a negative way to where it's perceived as you just berating the player. Now, the second concept that I want to discuss that you should never do at the poker table is talk about the hand when it's ongoing, especially when you're not involved in the hand, but even if you are and there's multi-way action. Players do this all the time. They are accustomed to doing it in home games. I see it way too often, and dealers are often just doing their jobs by letting the player know that they shouldn't be talking during the hand, and then the dealers either get scolded or they get a dirty look sometimes. And some people take it, fine, and they apologize and such, but they still act like it's not a big deal. I mean, let's say that you're not in the hand and the flop comes something like Jack, Jack 3, and then you tell the dealer, oh my God, like, I'd give anything to have my cards back. It's pretty obvious that you have a Jack X plus hand. You either have a Jack or you had pocket 3s. And that info is vital to the players that are involved in the hand, especially if there's a player that is trying to basically bluff and win the pot, and then the other player in the hand knows that, oh, there's just less combinations of really nuttish made hands that this player can have because of what the other guy just said. So be very mindful of that. I know players sometimes do it on accident. They treat live casinos and like private clubs as like a social atmosphere or social club itself, but just be mindful of that. Watch what you say. Don't talk about the hand while it's going on, essentially. The third and final thing to basically not do at the poker table, in my opinion, is do not ask the dealer for a wash, okay? Because when you show up to play in a casino and you're playing live poker, you're only going to see probably 40 hands an hour maximum. That's if you have a really good, efficient dealer. But you might even see less hands than that. And if you're playing correctly, you're probably only supposed to be playing about a quarter of those hands, and maybe even less than that. So you're not expected to play that many hands to begin with. So if you show up and you're playing for 30 minutes to an hour, I've seen guys show up and ask for a wash after one orbit. You need to keep in mind that you're just not going to see that many good hands. It's a 9-handed game. Some casinos spread the game 10-handed. You're not supposed to play that many hands, and therefore you're not going to see that many good hands. Asking the dealer for a wash, all that's going to do is slow the game down, and you're going to see less hands, which means that you're going to see basically a less amount of good hands. It just slows the game down. There's no point in it. The automatic shufflers that are, inserted into the table, they do their jobs. They shuffle the cards. They work just fine. Trust me on this. So don't ask for a wash. It doesn't do anything. It just slows the game down. It's not going to change the cards. Keep those 3 things in mind. Don't do those things at the table, in my opinion. Maybe I should make some kind of positive video on things to do at the table. How about just play well and just say nice hand, don't berate players, that type of thing. But if you guys have any questions or comments on these 3 topics, go ahead and let me know. Until next time, this is Nick from Arch City Poker. Take care.